Welcome back, everybody, to Lore and Legend. I am your host, the Specialist, aka Adam in real life, and we are currently hanging out with Andre, exactly where we left off last time. And let's do this thing. Here we are in the basement of the old cathedral with a couple of different options in terms of where to go. You can come down here if you want to, and you are met with one hell of a beast. We're not going to do that yet. Instead, I think we're going to go kill some gargoyles today. Yeah, let's do that. So yesterday we spent a lot of time talking about and touring around this area, which is the Undead Parish. We talked a lot about some of the lore surrounding firekeepers. I made a suggestion that maybe, Gwyn had started the bonfires as an attempt to capture the dark soul little bit by little bit, because we know that humanity, as we see it here, are fragments of the dark soul. And the dark soul is possessed or was discovered by... Oh, don't start with me again. It was captured, or discovered, I should say, by Manus, who is the furtive pygmy. And it represents... it could represent a number of different things. But what we do know about it is that it's attempting to reconnect. The Dark Soul sprites, the different fragments, are attempting to reconnect themselves. So, maybe the bonfires, maybe they are a creation of Gwyn. Maybe they're not. Maybe it's just an attempt by the firekeepers to gather the souls. But I tend to think the bonfires are a product of Gwyn. So we're going to come in through here, and we see that dude up there. We're going to do away with him real quick in a minute, and maybe talk about why the hell he's even here. What's up, player? Ooh, I got the front stab. Sometimes that's really hard to do just because you're on a lower level than that guy. All right, so here we come. I'm gonna come through here. Yeah, no doubt. So what happens here is there's all kinds of undeads kind of hanging out here. And I don't exactly have an amazing weapon right now, so... But what can happen is, because they stack behind each other, you can hit one, and then 3 or 4 of them can hit you. Oof. And you can get killed real quick if you're not careful. And of course, they also get the buff. You can see the blue buff from the channeler. I'm probably doing this in the most difficult way imaginable. Ooh, almost got cooked again. Get out of there. Let's just make this easy on ourselves here. Normally those guys aren't so bad. If you have a shield with a large amount of stability, you can just sit back and there won't be an issue. Oh, he fell down. Now he's currently buffing everybody down there. That's frustrating. All right, we'll get to him in a minute then. So if you want to get to the boss, access the boss, you got to come around here and go up. Before we do that, though, we are going to come this way. Playing extremely conservatively right now. I suppose I could have just done that from the beginning. Yeah, but the question of who created the bonfires first, that's an interesting question. And exactly what their purpose is, we're not entirely sure. You know, and I kind of think that, I mentioned in a previous video that Gwyn is really desperate, really desperate to keep the flame going. And I think that he's doing anything he possibly can to do that, and I think part of that may be to create bonfires and bonfire keepers, which are an infinite draw for humanity. I mean, you also want to keep in mind that every bonfire keeper is female. And, you know, we talked a little bit earlier about, you know, females and Gwyn's mom holding the child as a symbol for potential, but in mythology, women are also seen as potential because, you know, that's the means by which the future occurs, you know, in ancient society. So,
still human, are you? Then I am in luck. Could you help me? As you can see, I am stuck without recourse.
Okay, this is an interesting dude. You use the mystery key that we picked up in the last episode. This is the cell that it opens, obviously.
Thank you. Yes, sincerely. I am Knight Lautrec of Carim. I truly appreciate this. And I guarantee a reward. Only later. Yes, very sorry. Your reward will have to wait. I have just been freed. Allow.
Okay, so he's going to give us a reward, but a little bit later on. So why is that? Well, Lautrec here is a bit of he's a sketchy type character.
I am free.
Yeah, and that maniacal laughter once again
I am free.
indicates that he has bad intentions. So there's a good chance that he's going to invade somebody or he's going to do something to get some humanity back. And we meet up with him a little bit later at Firelink Shrine. So we'll save that. For now, though, we're going to come this way and find our way to the boss. Now, typically there's a summon sign here, and this is the place where you can summon Solaire if you want to. Whether you do or not, it's not a big deal. He's going to keep his storyline going regardless. Just in case we run into some trouble here. Gotta do some buffing. And I'm going to keep sipping on my coffee. If you're a Canadian, you know what Tim Hortons is. Pretty tasty. This is a perfect boss for this area. It makes the most amount of sense. Apparently, in the early parts of the game, or early development, they were going to place the centipede up here. I mean, may have been cool, but it just doesn't seem to work. Oh, I'm getting cooked, friends. That's what we're looking for there. Oh my goodness. Now we have two. Now we have two. Got one. What's up, player? Ah. Oh man. That's Dark Souls for you right there. Just eternally frustrating. But we got him. We got him in the end. We got him in the end, and we got the Gargoyle helmet. Nice little pickup there. Beauty. We got some twin humanities. Very, very, very interesting. And we got some souls. Now we're going to climb up here. Ring that bell that we keep hearing. So as I was saying earlier, you know, women indicate potential. And isn't it interesting that all the bonfire keepers are women and they are a draw for humanity? Well, maybe humanity is the seed by which humanity is continued, in which case women collect that. I mean, we're obviously, you know, we're adults here. We're obviously talking about sperm. It's very possible that there's some sort of a abstraction going on there for the procreation process. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Before we climb anywhere, let's just check out a couple things with regard to lore. Twin humanities, the first one we picked up. Rare tiny black sprite found on corpses, very unusual twin humanity. Used to gain 2 humanity and restore a large amount of HP. The black sprite is called humanity, but little is known about its true nature. If the soul is the source of all life, then what distinction is left for humanity? Right. So not too much different from the other description on the single humanity. Although it has been noted that you know, dual humanities can be picked up mostly from female corpses. Interesting. Okay, we rang the first one. Look at this view. Yeah, there's the Dukes. I always point out the Dukes. It's the highest point that you can go in this game. Sen's Fortress over there. That's a load of fun. It actually is. I don't mean to hate on it. It's just really hard. That's all. It's actually a really cool area. All right. So, climb down here. We're going to meet a very interesting character. Very interesting character who just appears after the boss is killed. Or, sorry, after we ring the bell.
Greetings. I am Oswald of Carim, the Pond. Thou art a friend. For thee, a warm welcome. Cometh thou to confess, or to accuse? For indeed, all sin is my domain.
Okay, so this is the Pardoner. And he functions in this game to forgive you if you've done something really bad. So if you hurt or harm, say Andre of Astora, for example, and he becomes hostile, you can come up here and pay to have that relationship restored. And interestingly enough, he is wearing Velka's helmet. And when we get to the Painted World, we're going to talk a lot more about Velka and who she is. For now, she's a goddess, and this seems to be her representative. We learned that gesture. Let's check out some of these items here. Purging Stone reduces curse buildup and breaks a curse. The Earl of Carim, our store, Earl of Carim. So, you know, this guy comes from Carim. And we're going to talk a little bit more about curses when we get down into the depths, of course. But this is a really creepy and interesting thing because you transfer a curse into a surrogate. You don't actually get rid of the curse, you just transfer it into something else. So this is a stone that you transfer the curse from yourself onto this stone. And it's a secret treasure of Arster, the Earl of Carim. Creepy, creepy stuff, but very interesting. The indictment. So if you are invaded, you can pick this up and you get a list of players. This is an online feature. And it works with the Blades of the Dark Moon Covenant. So if you are killed by an invader, use this to report the crime of the trespasser. Velka, the goddess of sin. That's really interesting. The goddess of sin. So we can understand from this, she both pardons sin and she punishes sin. So she's a god of judgment, which I think is going to play into a very interesting perspective I have on what's going on in the Painted World of Ariamis. Very, very, very interesting stuff. So there's Velka, goddess of sin. The Homeward Bone, we've already seen this. You know, undead seem to want to get back to the flame. Book of the Guilty. This is where you check who's guilty of certain crimes of invading and killing. But check this out. The goddess of sin, Velka, oversees this list of the guilty who have disrespected the gods or their covenants and shall one day face the wrath of the Blades of the Dark Moon. Again, it seems that Velka is in league with the Blades of the Dark Moon Covenant, and these people hunt you down if you mess things up. So that's that. Karmic justice. This is interesting. This is a miracle of the black-haired witch Velka. So not a god here, but a witch. Temporary auto counter versus heavy damage. For each sin there is a punishment, and it is the task of Goddess Velka to define the sin and mete out the punishment. So again, Velka is a god of judgment. Interesting. Velka's talisman. Scales with intelligence, as you can see by the A just below there. Medium for casting miracles of the gods. This black tuft of hair that serves as a talisman belongs to Velka, the goddess of sin. It casts miracles not by drawing upon faith, but by intelligence. So if you are a sorcerer like I am, and you still want to use miracles, this will allow you to use miracles and scale it with your intelligence. So for example, I don't have a high level of faith, which would mean that my miracles are awful. But if I use this talisman, I can use all the miracles. So that's going to come in handy. We're definitely going to pick one of these up later on for the spell Wrath of the Gods. It's one of my favorites. Here's some more rings you can get. Bloodbite ring, boost bleeding resistance. One of the infamous bite rings commissioned by Sir Arster of Carim. Despite the dreadful rumors surrounding its creation, this ring is an unmistakable asset in its ability to help prevent bleeding. Poison bite, another infamous bite ring. Okay, so this helps with poison. ring of sacrifice. This mystical ring was created in a sacrificial rite of Velka, the goddess of sin. Its wearer will lose nothing upon death, but the ring breaks itself. That's interesting. So if this is made in a sacrificial rite to the goddess of judgment, it would seem that maybe she has the power over life and death, which is really, really, really interesting in a world where Gwyn is trying to hang on to life in every single way by way of the bonfires and by keeping the flame lit. So, this is, again, another cool thing because the lore is tied into the gameplay mechanic. If you put this on and you die, you don't lose any souls, is what this does in the game. In the lore, it could symbolize if Velka is... I have a lot of thoughts right now. This is a sacrificial rite of Velka. Is the person wearing the ring being sacrificed? And if so, what are they being sacrificed to? Is it worn by invaders? So if they go in, they don't die, or they don't lose anything when they die. Are we talking about, this is just give yourself to Velka as a means of death, but you don't lose anything as a result of that death? Is it something she equips people for when they attack the gods? Think about that. And when we get to the painted world of Ariamis, I think we'll have some interesting things to talk about. What is that place? It seems to be the home of Velka, but there's a lot of interesting things there. Is that a place, total spoilers, is that a place where Velka administers judgments and then sends people out to punish the gods? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. We'll see. Anyway, here's this guy. You can abandon your covenant if you want to. I'm not going to. You can request absolution. I haven't sinned at this stage. Who knows? Maybe I will. Until next time, friend.
Thou art welcome any time. It is only human to commit a sin.
So it's only human to commit a sin. That's us. So I just wonder, all these things mentioned in the opening lines or the prologue, disparity. Obviously, you know what sin is because you know what it is not to sin, and vice versa. So you're aware of certain things. Oh, look who's back. He found his way back. Let's see if we can get lucky. Maybe we'll pick something up here. Oh, he fell again. Is he going to find his way up here? I could plunge attack this punk ass. Oh, he's doing a dance. No, he's just hooked up on something. Can I get him? Nope. I have pretty low health here, so I'm not going to risk. Dying because of a stupid fall, that's for sure. So he's got the same spell that we do. And interesting, because these guys... Oh, I am out. Damn, I might be in trubs here, friends. Or not. Let's see what I got here. Oh, I equipped these, that's right. Ho 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 ho! Nighty night. Anything for lore? Nah. These guys are interesting because they come from the Duke's archives. These are acolytes of Seath the Scaleless. And he's come all the way down from the Dukes. Why is he here? Well, these guys are called Snatchers for a reason. They snatch people up and they take them back to the Duke's archives so that they can do experiments on them. That's how that works. Well, who is he grabbing here to bring back over there to the Duke's archives? Is it us? Well, we do know that later on, Milady shows up here to worship at what I think is the shrine of Gwyn's mother, perhaps the burial place. Is she the only one? And do these Snatchers, do they prey upon people who are coming to worship Gwyn? I don't know. That's interesting. It's very interesting. Well, at any rate, let's go back to the bonfire. Imminent blacksmith, indeed. Yeah, Andre has become super popular. Okay, let's level up a couple things. Pop a couple of things there. Get our decks up. We want that. Atonement is going to become important a little bit later on. Strength there. Cool. Okay, so we have talked about all kinds of different things in this video. We took down the Gargoyles, barely. Apologize for the shitty gameplay. It's been a while since I played that boss, but either way, we got through. Took down the Gargoyles. We met a representative of Velka from Carim. We learned a little bit about the goddess Velka. She's a goddess of judgment. We made a couple guesses as to maybe what's going on later on in the painted world of Ariamis. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. We mused a little bit more about the nature of the bonfires, where they came from, what the origin of these things were. I still think they're made by Gwyn, and I think they're just a means by which he can collect the souls. I think he's after the Dark Soul. I do think he's after the Dark Soul. Gwyn is not dead, by the way. He's alive. You fight him at the end of the game. He's not dead. He is not dead. But what's going on here? There's a lot of interesting things going on. And that's the beauty of Dark Souls, is they don't tell you straight out. They do not tell you straight out. They don't tell you obviously what's going on. So, that's it for today. Fairly short video. Hopefully it was educational. Oh, before I go, by the way, we met another interesting character from Carim, Lautrec. Some people will say Lautrec. What is that guy doing? Why was he even locked up? And why does he have such a sinister laugh? He has a sinister laugh. The other ones are just more insane when they laugh. Everyone's laughing. Why is everyone laughing? Are they laughing at me? Maybe. I doubt it. Anyway, that's it for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Always love your support. If you have any comments, throw them in the comment section below. And we're going to keep playing along. Keep playing along. So, until next time, treat each other well. And we'll talk soon, friends.